with Gina.
The news with Gina Grad.
Well, WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange has been sentenced. He is doing 50 weeks behind bars, almost a year, for skipping bail back in 2012 and taking refuge in Ecuador's London embassy. Assange was arrested last month after the Ecuadorian government kicked him out of their embassy, where he was avoiding extradition to Sweden to face charges of sexual assault and rape. Assange is also facing extradition to the U.S., where he's facing charges related to the WikiLeaks release of classified documents. And by the way, Swedish prosecutors have dropped the rape case against him, but they say they could decide to reopen it if they want. And he's still working on leaking documents from the Ecuadorian embassy.
So they just slipped out of their hands and they picked it up. Like, we dropped it, but we'll pick it up if we like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I wonder how the victim feels about that.
Probably not great. Not validated.
No kidding.
It's a weird way to handle a rape case. But also, extradited to Sweden doesn't sound like a bad afternoon.
Sounds like a vacation.
Yeah. So he's going to do a little under a year, and then that'll be that.
For now.
I guess.
In case Sweden picks up the rape case again.
Yeah. I wonder what, I wonder what his future is.
Well, and, they said when they found him, I mean, we saw pictures, when they finally pulled him out of the Ecuadorian embassy, he looked like Father Time. I mean, he looked so nuts, the hair, the beard. He would apparently been skateboarding through the halls and freaking people out and writing on the walls and just kind of losing his mind, it seemed like. And one of the reasons the government kicked him out was he was working on leaking documents from the Ecuadorian embassy, and they were just done with him.
That's kind of the definition of biting the hand that feeds.
Yeah.
This is literally the nation that's protecting you and
giving you refuge.
Yeah, and you get to live in their embassy, and you're like, but I got some shit on you. Like, I don't get that part.
He just started
all.
unraveling, probably from not going outside for God knows how long.
We have a weird, delicate balance with our relationship with our houses, which is if you never get to leave, you go insane.
Yeah.
And if you go out and do 55 weekends or 52 weekends a year, like Brad, you also go insane.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's a real balancing act. You have to be in the house and out of the house just the right amount.
Just
if it
the right
gets
amount.
thrown off, you really start tail spinning fast.
Yeah.
You get sucked up in your house for 4 days, you'll grow a beard and kill choke yourself with
Cabin
it.
fever.
You go out on the road for like 4 or 5 days in a row, you're immediately miserable. Like, what is that? I mean, we shouldn't have that relationship with our house.
It's so weird, and it doesn't even matter how big your house is, because I have friends that are in they're in mansions, and they'll go, oh man, I gotta get out of the house. I'm like, you have a gym, a pool, a fucking golf simulator?
You should pray for house arrest.
Yes.
A ladder with wheels on it. And you gotta leave?
Yeah, that's mind-boggling to me, but I guess even they get cramped up sometimes.
Yeah.
But I mean, I have that sometimes on the road where I'll be staying in a really nice hotel in a really nice city, and I'll just be like, oh God, I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out, see the city, do something.
Yeah.
I don't know where else is applicable, so bring it up here now. Things that make you weirdly... Tiny houses. You seen the tiny houses show on HGTV or whatever?
I just call those houses.
I know
Brian.
you do.
Yeah.
Well, I want to bring it up while you're here.
Okay.
They're so off-putting. Like, they make me feel very cramped. I watch them like, I don't want to be in that. I don't want to be around that.
Charming closets.
Anyone else feel that way? Or am I like a weirdo like this?
No.
No.
The tiny house.
I'm with you on that. And
This house is 75 square feet.
A much bigger house to me than it is for other people. Where I go, it's a duplex, and I'm still just like, get me out of that place.
I'm a guy. I'm a sucker for all building shows. I love architecture and I love all that, like Malibu real estate and blah blah blah. Those shows, a young couple living in a refrigerator box, like hold no appeal to me, and it feels uncomfortable.
Yes.
Like we watch what's that on Discovery?
HGTV or something.
HGTV. You guys, if you did a show called Sweater Made of Human Hair, I would be more apt to watch it than that.
Yeah.
It's just, it hurts. I don't like it.
It makes you feel
cringy.
Exactly. Creepy crawlies.
Yeah. And listen, fuck all you common people with your goddamn real estate. Fucking because these assholes that program these shows, they're like, look, our average demo can only afford a $289,000 house in the San Fernando Valley, so we want to focus on it. Fuck you. It's aspirational. I don't want to fucking watch a car show. Oh, it's a Toyota Camry. This one's an 08. It's only got 88,000 miles on it. Come on, it's got a cloth interior. This is something you can afford, right? No, I want your fucking Ferrari.
Crank windows last year.
Yeah, so last year they did a crank window.
Nothing and
an optional AM, like a CD player.
Yeah. And for all of us who live in Southern California, nothing makes you depressed faster than the family that's like, well, what we're looking for is a 5-bedroom with a pool and 2 walk-in closets and a spiral staircase.
Acreage.
Our budget is $200,000.
We could stretch it if we had to. We
could do 240, but then they don't say where they are. They're like, no problem, we'll find that.
Follow me to the Inland Empire.
Yeah, they don't tell you that they're in the backwoods of Louisiana, and that's the only place that you can afford a house like that.
And they always sidestep. There's one activity that's for sure going on in the house that they never discuss. They're always like, oh, he's got his man cave, and he could watch the game down here or shoot pool with the boy or beat off constantly
with the door locked
in a loveless relationship.
Just be in a separate area.
I hate it. So look at the veranda. You have your coffee out here. No, I've had 100 verandas. I've never had coffee out there. All of it is like, I'm late. I got to go to work. What's going on? What's the meaning of this? And I leave.
What's the meaning of this?
Yeah,
like me.
What's all this then?
On a veranda with a cup of coffee.
When my wife and I got our house, they sold us on this backyard where they're like, yeah, you can go out here and have your morning coffee. I'm like, I've never once done that.
No one's ever done it.
Never once.
And also, the realtors assume you live off of coffee and red wine. Yep. That's all you consume. At night, you have a glass of red wine, you come out and sit in front of the fire pit. Like, it's never happened. It's never going to happen.
It's romantic fantasy.
You're making me angry because now I think other people do it.
Yeah.
And I don't.
No one's ever done that.
Yeah. I feel the same way when I see the Home Depot commercial and the good-looking chick standing at the paint counter and the guy's like 2 steps back and 1 half step to the left and she's pointing at stuff. And
he doesn't
come
know
in
what he's
and
doing.
get the shaker out. Hey, I said eggshell, not semi-gloss. Come on, Brucko. Yeah. And she's doing everything.
It's not always like that.
It's not always that way.
Not always.
Not always.
Well, some really scary and sad news out of North Carolina. At least 2 people were killed. 4 others were injured in a shooting Tuesday afternoon on the UNC Charlotte campus. The alleged shooter reportedly apprehended, been identified as a 22-year-old student. The university tweeted that the campus was on lockdown right after the shooting broke out. 3 of the injured have had surgery. They are expected to make a full recovery. The 4th already treated and released, which is great. We can take that. I'm not going to say his name.
It'd be weird if you had a graph of campus shootings. You'd have like the guy on top of the tower at the University of Texas.
Charles Whitman.
Yeah, what's his name?
Charles Whitman.
1967 or whatever. And then you'd have a long flat line of like nothing. And then you'd get to 2011 and then boom. Like, I mean, like it's going to be a weird graph to look at, right?
The thing is like now this is the extreme opposite of when, like, okay, so for instance, and trust me, I'll make this make sense. So you have a guy like Hugh Hefner who can bang any young blonde that he wants.
This isn't making sense to me.
Wait for it.
Where's it going with this?
Wait for it. And then still by the end of it says like, oh, I'm bored. Like he gets bored. It's so horrible that these shootings have happened so often that I have, like, obviously it's a tragedy, but
You're desensitized.
Yes. I don't freak out. I don't put my head under a pillow and go, what's this world coming to? I go, well, there you go.
Shooting.
There's another one.
Do you guys, Mike, my super simple yet effective explanation for whenever people go, why there's so many? Mm-hmm. It's like, because there is.
One begets the other.
It's like, I always use this as an analogy, which is, you talk to 5 parents now, and 2 of them have a kid who's transitioning into, like, how come this didn't exist? Like, it didn't. It literally didn't exist. And now, like, Charlize Theron's got a son, and he's transitioning. Like, this never happened when I was a kid. It didn't exist, and now it does. Right. So there's certain things in life that just sort of aren't, and then they are, and some are good and some aren't good, but they're still, to me, it's like the same wavelength. It's just now we have this thing.
This
This
is something,
is.
this is something that we have to deal with.
We're kind of at the point where I think there's going to have to be some good guys with some good guns that are around in a population on campuses, because I don't see any other way. Locking down the campus or getting first responders. These guys were here in minutes. That's all just after.
Yeah.
It's all after. We need some during. Something to deter during the actual event, not people showing up faster.
Right, after the carnage.
Yeah, which not going to hurt, but we now hear so many stories about these things being cut short. No one's going to stop. What was that goddamn LA Times article that made me want to load my van up with fertilizer and back it into the goddamn building? Just like they're doing this anti-gun rant. They're like, who cares how many people died? 2, 3, 7, 18? What difference is it? And it's like, well, it would make a difference to the parents of the
18
kids who are at the
families.
school. And we're not going to do anything about the first two, because there will never be that good. But at some point, when those guys are dodging return fire coming their direction, it cuts it short. It's happened quite a few times now. God, James Woods sent a tweet out. I don't know why I was thinking about James Woods.
Sonny, help us out.
Oh, he loved it. Max Bada. There's some guy probably in Florida. I can't remember. It's a James. It's a tweet he sent out, James Woods, it was like a couple of weeks ago. And some guy just showed up with a gun, like on a corner, and is like holding it out, like, hey, everybody, is waving in everyone's face. And some chick just pulls a gun right out of her purse and like, pow. Wow. And the guy's just on the ground. I'm like, good. Yeah. Good. I didn't know what he was going to do with these people, but I'm glad that chick did that. That was the only tweets that Woods sends out that aren't criticizing Hillary Clinton are ones of citizens shooting bad guys.
It's consistent.
He's very consistent. He's on point.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, they're not speculating the motives yet. And I heard.
Do we even need motives anymore? It's just people just shoot people because they're on prescription meds and guns are everywhere and everyone's emotional wreck. And
he's being charged with 2 counts of murder, 4 counts of attempted first-degree murder, 4 counts of assault with a deadly weapon, possession of a firearm on educational property, and discharging on an educational property.
So does this go to your theory, Adam, where you just want to sit the parents down in a room and go, "What's up"?
I do,
they
because
seem confused. I'll give them that.
Look, there are occasions where the parents really just, it's all nature, and the kid just had a bad seed and whatever. Like people have mental disorders, schizophrenia, and everything else. You can't. The parents can't even control it a lot of the time. In my world, as long as they did everything, if your kid has schizophrenia and the kid's out on the street and is sleeping under an overpass, as the parents, I want you to take responsibility. Now, if the mom's got a shiner from the last time she tried to get her son back in the house and he swung on her, then I'm going to go, my heart goes out to you. Right. Yeah. If it's, he's got meds, but we have to drive him over the hill to UCLA and it's a long haul, then that is on you. Yeah. So you proved to me that you did what you could do and the kid still snapped a twig. And I'll look. It's like a dog owner. Right? You rescued a dog from the pound. The dog was Michael Vick's dog before he got to you, and he hauls off and bites a kid. I don't really blame you, but if you tortured that dog,
that's on you.
Then it is on you. You have the LA Times, the op-ed.
Yeah, this is from the after the Parkland shooting, and it reads.
Who is this person that wrote this so we can know to never listen to anything they ever... If they say pass the salt, we'll just yell liar.
There's no name. It's just...
Oh, there's no name?
Anonymous op-ed.
Anonymous op-ed.
Hey, I'm back with my Hall of Fame, my Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. You don't perform, you're not in. Yeah. You don't put your name on an op-ed, we don't publish it.
It's from the Times editorial board. So that's what they're calling themselves. As a society, we tend to become particularly shocked, at least for a few minutes, when someone shoots down children and young adults while they're attending classes in what should be a positive, nurturing, and safe environment. But even if we're shocked, we tolerate it. Our outrage is more Pavlovian than visceral. We listened to the bleatings of the gun enthusiasts that, well, if those teachers had guns, then this wouldn't have been as bad. Been as bad? Think about that. If a pistol-strapping chemistry teacher had grabbed her .45 and unloaded on today's gunman after he killed, what, 1 student? 3? 5? That would be good news?
Well, first off, how did these people make it out of junior college in the English Lit department? Not as bad by definition is not as bad if you have one person versus 5 bodies.
Yeah, say anything you want about the arming teachers. There's certainly that debate. But you cannot argue the logic of one person being shot dead is I mean, it's not better to those family members, but that's better than 18.
Mm-hmm.
I was the worst student at North Hollywood High, and if I was part of the editorial department that was going to send this thing to print, I would stand up and yell, "Hey, fuck sticks! We are making fun of our own point. We're disproving the point we're making while we're editorializing about this subject. That's insane. It's insane." All right. Anyway. Would it be better? Yes, it would be better. Of course it would be better. Mm-hmm. It's just like car accidents where one person died. Would it be better if one person died instead of 5 people in a car accident?
Yes.
Yes, it would.
Logistically,
Yes, it would be better. Yeah. Thank you.
Well, apparently Rick Schroder just got arrested for domestic violence for the second time in a month. Cops in L.A. responded to a call from his home shortly after midnight Wednesday. Officers spoke to both him and his girlfriend, then hauled him in on charges of felony domestic violence. According to TMZ, the felony charge indicates that the officers saw visible evidence that the girlfriend had been struck. This is Schroder's second such arrest in the past month. He was also charged with felony domestic violence on April 2nd. I don't know if you guys met him. He used to come on the morning show all the time. Real nice guy. This really surprised me.
Don't cross him.
I did not see this
cross you.
Mm-hmm. I'm guessing this is a potent combination of booze and just being eyeballed the wrong way.
Oh,
you know that feeling when someone's staring at the back of your head while you're trying to watch Sports Center?
Could be not knowing your place.
Judging.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Could be speaking out of
Silently.
turn. Yeah.
But mostly booze. You can feel those eyeballs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You've been out on the road playing Atlantic City.
Yeah.
Caught a Uber with Mike August at 4:30 in the morning.
This is a specific example.
Trying to unwind, watch a little Sports Center, maybe listen to a little Graham Parker, John Hyatt, just kind of.
Feeling specific
details, yeah.
Ricky, he likes
personal.
a lot of those.
I didn't realize that.
Oh, yeah. He likes the new wave
Sounds like
guys
somebody
from the
else.
early 80s.
Oh.
Anyway, all of a sudden you just feel those eyeballs on the back of your skull, man.
Yep.
You're trying to have a highball, man. It's noon.
You're trying to relax, trying to unwind.
Trying to unwind.
You work hard.
Well, me time.
Oh, but you can't because your scalp's burning.
It's called me time, not me and you time.
That's right, man. And after a while, the noise gets so loud.
The noise of the eyeballs.
Silence.
Burning a
Silence
hole in the
deafening.
back of your brain.
Singeing.
No sane man could restrain himself.
It's forgivable. Understandable, even.
Out come the nunchucks. Now, look, you're traveling, you're carrying nunchucks. I get it.
Sure.
It's fine. You don't think you're going to have to use them at home, but when forced to, you'll protect yourself.
There's
Feel those
situations
eyeballs.
that make sense.
Feel those eyeballs. Now, look, it doesn't matter if those eyeballs are upstairs and they're closed, taking a nap. Eyeballs are eyeballs.
Yeah.
You can feel them burning.
You know.
That's right. A lot of people say, hey, how about a little heads up before you bust out the nunchucks?
I say, busting out the nunchucks is the heads up.
That is the heads up.
That is your first warning.
You'll feel the sting of the first nunchuck. That'll let you know they're out.
That's no beer in the room.
That's right.
You should be a criminal defense attorney.
My rest
Yeah.
of the case.
And you can throw around excuses like, I had my wisdom teeth pulled and I'm heavily medicated and I had to lay down and under a comforter or whatever you want. But I still feel the sting of the
Paper
prying
thing story.
eyes.
Now
the back of
joining
the
Mark
skull.
Garagos' team. Adam Carolla.
Garagos, and Carolla.
I could defend Schroeder. First,
Absolutely.
I'd always call him Little Ricky. That's what I call him the whole time.
He loves that.
Little Ricky.
Yeah.
What were you thinking the night?
Guilty.
The night of the incident?
I'd put him in a little Dutch boy's outfit. You know what I mean?
In
I'd
a
call
little
him-
train?
Sure.
Yeah, like a little cute little
course.
Dutch boy's outfit. I'd call him Little Ricky.
Yeah.
Cut his
Wide brim
hair,
hat.
Page boy cut.
Ribbons down the back.
Have a slingshot in his back pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah, was he
Yeah.
getting some mischief?
Yeah.
Some mischief.
Little Ricky.
Little scrap.
Little knickerbockers.
All right, what else?
Well, let's change the tone a little bit. A dateless teen with a sense of humor took himself to the prom, but that's not where it ended. He wore a handmade half-suit, half-dress outfit just to kind of make light of the situation. His name is Wyatt Cheadle. He's 16 years old. He lives in Rochester, New York. He didn't have a date for the prom, and he loves crafting and restoration. He's currently refurbishing an antique typewriter, by the way. He got an idea.
Wait, instead of one of those newfangled typewriters that Apple just released?
A future typewriter?
That's an old one? They're all old.
And you're saying the guy who refurbishes typewriters couldn't find a date?
Wow.
What kind of world are we living in?
I know, it's
what
not
chance
fair.
do any of us have if the guy who refurbishes typewriters can't have a date?
Well, he and his mom got an idea. They went to Goodwill, started pulling the clothes, spent several hours constructing the ensemble. He has a corsage on one hand, a one clipped earring. And by the way, do you know what that bow is called that he's wearing on the lady side?
I'm glad I don't.
It's called a pussy bow. And so he has half a pussy bow and half a dress shirt, and he's good to go to prom.
You know,
looks like full pussy to me.
He said he got a lot of high fives for his epic outfit.
The ironically named pussy bow.
Not a lot of hand jobs, though.
Yeah.
A lot of high fives.
No
a lot of
low
hand
fives.
jobs.
I kind of approach everything from like an engineering standpoint, and they chose black slacks and a black dress.
Yeah.
So that when you take a photograph, it sort of looks like one side of his pants are wrinkled.
Doesn't print.
You got to pick two different colors for the lower half. The upper half, he has like a blue dress shirt and a strawberry colored like chiffon, whatever, sleeveless, whatever. But that's your contrast. That's what you do.
God, you've been saying this for years, Adam.
You
It's like a broken record.
Pick another color. By the way, have the lower half of the dress.
Well, yeah, it looks like he has a
should be
skirt
full.
on one side, and it's very hard to see.
Not reading.
He really
Also,
screwed this up.
just for everyone who's listening, who's planning on doing this,
Taking himself to the prom.
you go wrist corsage on the feminine side, but you got to go boutonniere on the masculine side.
Yeah.
What? Come on, Ma.
What do I think of this? Why do I think of this?
I don't know why. I don't know why I have to do all the heavy lifting.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure he'll get another chance next year when he doesn't have a date for senior prom.
Yeah, he's never gonna have a date.
How do you top it, though, the next year? Is this just your move?
Yeah, has half a crown
Yeah.
for the prom queen.
Oh, that'd be good.
The girl half is pregnant.
He's got to. Although I kind of dig the part where him and his mom went down to Goodwill and got the sewing machine out and all that. I do love that.
Project.
That's a project.
Yeah.
All right, let's do one more.
Oh,
He'll
right.
be missed. What? What?
Well, NBC's Today Show is opening a cafe in Universal Studios Orlando featuring a menu of all Al Roker's favorite foods.
Oh, God.
The Today Cafe will open on
Brownies,
May 16th.
cookies,
It's described as
cakes,
a highly themed environment, which will make
brownies
diners
and cookies and cakes.
make diners feel like they're on the set.
Highly
And Roker, he likes to cook. He designed the menu to reflect the spirit of New York.
Oh, wait. We're going to be in Florida.
Yeah.
When is this open?
On May 18th, May 16th, we're going to have to
glorious.
swing down to Orlando.
That's pretty far away.
Is Roker a married fella?
I have no idea.
That is one of those things where I don't have him on my gaydar,
No.
but I've never.
Yeah,
But
I've never seen his lady.
I ain't saying no. I never say no to gay. I mean, you never.
Lord knows we know
he's
that about
not,
you.
They're.
It's a confirmed bachelor.
You start to kind of break down his game film a little bit. You
Okay.
could start drawing you a little over to my side of the road, right? Like, what's the
Interesting.
deal?
What is that?
He's currently married.
Oh.
It's
Yeah,
his
but
second
still.
marriage.
Oh, to a dude. No, he's married.
Yeah, to Deborah Roberts, who's a TV journalist on ABC.
Oh,
Okay.
never.
There you
That's
go.
weird that
Rival
you
network.
They keep it quiet.
I
That's
think
why they
you'd
don't go
hear
after that
something about that
There you
on rare.
Oh, my God, they
that's
look alike.
her. Wait a minute, that's her,
Brian,
right?
please.
Like, she's on TV.
Yeah.
Oh,
Brian.
That's
Brian.
his face on her.
Brian.
Oh, Brian, come on.
Brian, they don't all look alike, Brian.
yeah, not all. And let me say
Journalists?
this. I think I'd marry a fat guy versus a formerly fat guy because I feel like there's a lot of extra skin.
Oh, yeah. You do have to have another follow-up
I
surgery
feel
for
like that extra skin is worse than the skin being full.
Yeah, that's tough stuff. I don't know if you've ever watched any of those shows after the
she's
massive
always
weight loss.
she's always on. I try not to watch
they're
anything.
hard to
the
watch.
Tiny houses and massive panis are the two shows I steer clear of. And it
This
always,
shelf was from a penis.
it drives me nuts.
Tiny house, large gunt.
Yeah, what it is. Like they have these guys standing like my former 600-pound life, and the guy's just standing there with his areolas all stretched out,
Down by his knees.
sad titties, and it's like, oh, god damn it, I'm eating
Yeah, it's
here.
tough.
She was on, like, she was to 48 hours or 2020, or she was a fixture on one of those
2020.
shows. Yeah.
2020, yeah.
Back when you had to watch 2020.
Well,
now there's like way too many good versions of that out.
True crime stuff.
Well, now that Al Roker has this restaurant, I think Hoda and Kathy Lee have to have a bar.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
A day bar.
A day bar. A wine and cheese place.
What's on the menu?
Well, they don't want to give that information up just yet. But he says this cafe makes sense because people eat breakfast with us and we eat a lot of food, so it's a natural fit.
He had the
Great explanation.
He had the stomach
People
bariatric.
eat, don't they?
What did he have?
Did he have the staple? I know he had a was it gastric bypass?
Yeah, or whatever it
Sleeve
is.
or something.
Gastric
Sleeve,
bypass, yeah.
balloon, whatever.
Yeah.
It's a weird. Yeah, they have to. They kind of have the same thing with that surgery, I think. And I don't know if they have this anymore, but we're talking about transitioning. Like before, we'll perform the gender.
Did you finally announce it?
I'm now. Don't interrupt. I'm on a roll. No, you must live as a woman or live as a man before we cut your honker off. We want to make sure this is for you.
wanna commit.
They used to have a thing where it's like you have to live in that world for, a year or whatever it was, and then you can do the gender reassignment surgery.
So how would this work?
This works the same with the gastric bypass, which is you got to try to be on a diet fat stuff for 6 months, and then if we find out we can't do it, then we'll do it.
Yeah.
But now I think it's kind of game on in both departments.
Maybe.
Because there's a big billboard like down the 5 where it's like eat whatever you want all the time, and it's like it's
Not that.
Where do I
Not the
sign?
message. It's not the message.
It's
we should be
human.
sending.
It's humans at its worst.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
just fall asleep with a pizza on your head because
Eat your way out.
through it in the morning.
Intravenous pizza.
Because we're going to do this.
Right.
It's weird, right?
Yeah, it's not a great way for us to go as a society.
Did Al have the surgery?
Yeah.
And then there was, remember Star Jones?
Yeah, she had it too.
But she wouldn't say.
Oh, really?
Pretty
I
obvious.
think her thing was she wouldn't say.
And I just remember when Star Jones had it, that was like the model for maybe you don't want to have this surgery because her head stayed the same
popsicle
size.
head.
Yeah, but then her body got slimmer.
What is
That
Star
didn't work
Jones still?
She
was-
also had gastric bypass.
Just about to ask the same question.
Whatever
Is she
happened to Star
around?
Jones?
It's an ignorant question, perhaps, but is she around? Is she known?
I don't know. I feel like she was everywhere for a very short, possibly too long a period in this podcaster's life, and now she's nowhere.
She was the OG View crew.
That's
with,
right.
With Meredith Vieira and all those ladies.
All right, shall we bring it home,
Let's
Gina Grad?
do it. I'm Gina Grad, and that's the news.
That was the news with Gina Grad.